it over to Victoria.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm Victoria, and I want to preface everything by saying thank you for spending a little bit of your Saturday with me. And I know this is supposed to be an hour class, but I'm sure you guys have a lot to do today, so I'm going to try to make it as quick as I can while at the same time giving you guys a lot of information. So I'm going to start out, before I do the recipes, with giving you a backstory of why I stumbled into this quite niche lifestyle. And I want to explain kind of what veganism is, and especially raw veganism, because I know that it's a movement right now that's kind of catching the world by storm. But I know that not everyone knows what it is, or maybe you know a little bit about it. So first of all, vegans abstain from all animal products, so meat, dairy, eggs, and also leather and stuff like that. And then there's plant-based diets, which just specifically take out the animal products from what they eat. And so what I am and how I eat is a raw vegan, so I don't eat any cooked food. My diet consists of organic raw fruits and vegetables, a little bit of soaked and sprouted nuts and seeds, seaweeds, and some herbs here and there, some herbal teas. I also really love juices and smoothies. And the reason why I stumbled into this lifestyle is pretty much from the minute I was born. I've had skin problems, and they've ranged from all kinds of things. And whenever I was about 10 years old, I started getting acne really, really badly. And I looked around at my peers, and no one else had the problems that I did with my skin. And I just continued living my life, and I tried every skin product under the sun. Nothing worked, of course. Whenever I was in high school, I went to a dermatologist seeking help, and she put me on antibiotics, and it didn't work, of course. And so I just got fed up at about age 20, and I call it an epiphany. I had this epiphany that my skin problems were coming from the inside out, and that's something that I really hadn't focused on before. I never cared about what I ate or anything like that, never really exercised, but I had that epiphany. So this is about 4.5 years ago. So I also stumbled upon the documentary called Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. It's pretty popular. It's about this man who had a skin problem too, and he was on all kinds of steroid medication, and he was overweight. He was just dying, essentially. And he embarked on a 60-day green juice fast. And it healed him, he lost weight, and he got off his medication, and it just really inspired me to start juicing. So I got a juicer. My parents got a juicer too, they're over there. And that really changed my life, and it really piqued my interest, because I all of a sudden was getting this concentrated nutrition in liquid form, and it was just really cool, juicing the carrots and the celery and all that. And then about a month later, I came across this man's videos on YouTube. His name is Dan McDonald. He's called The Life Regenerator, and he was a raw vegan. So in this video, he was eating a raw vegan hamburger. So it was like lettuce, onions, tomatoes, and immediately the light bulb went on for me, and I was like, this is what I need to do. So I pretty much went raw vegan overnight, and I have not looked back since, and it's been the best journey ever. So I do YouTube videos, and I try to upload pretty much daily or every couple days, and I do recipes, and I just try to give inspiration about raw veganism, because aside from skin problems, I believe that raw veganism kind of puts you on a path of detoxification, which to me I think is the key to all health issues. Yeah, I'm not even going to get real deep into that, but a lot of people in this society have health issues that could be reversed with a diet change, and specifically detoxification. So it's just been the best journey ever, and I recently wrote a recipe book, and that's going to be for sale. I have it up here. If you guys want to look at it, I have a copy, and you guys can pass it around or do whatever you want. But now I'm going to start the recipes. So we're going to start with coleslaw. And I've already shredded a bunch of carrots over here, and this is the bowl I'm going to do it in. So what we do is, the cool thing about raw veganism for me is that it's not like baking, so you don't have to have specific ingredients like 8 carrots or anything like that. I just kind of eyeball it, and so I probably shredded, maybe 10 carrots and 3 small zucchinis into this bowl. It was super easy. Raw veganism and veganism doesn't have to be some ordeal. I make my meals typically every night in about 10 to 15 minutes once you get it down. Okay, and then I'm going to be adding some chopped cucumber. I really love natural grocers in particular because all of the produce is organic. I don't have to mess around with any of the conventional stuff. I'm very blessed that I try to eat primarily all organic because I think it's really, really important. If you guys have studied anything about conventional versus organic, it's very fascinating, and I enjoy not really eating poison on my food. I know that organic produce, they still use pesticides and stuff like that, but it's just not as harsh, and there's not GMO and anything like that. So it really is a blessing. So what I'm going to do is add these cucumbers. You can chop them as finely as you want or as big as you want, depending on how much time you want to do, how much time you want to put into the recipe. I'll chop a few more cucumbers. And also, throughout this entire class today, I would love for you guys to ask any questions you have. You can just blurt them out, and I will try my best to answer the questions.
What was the most difficult thing to do in going from the previous diet you had to the previous diet you had to
You know, I'm kind of an interesting case, if you will, because I really did go raw overnight, and I don't remember ever having cravings or anything like that, because I really think that this is my calling, and I'm anointed to do this. But I know that most people definitely have a transitory period. And maybe for me, the hardest part was the social issue, because as we all know, people have relationships that are based on food, and you go out to eat and all that. So I kind of, and still to this day, I think I look a little bit like an alien to some people. But I've just learned that you just can't really care what people think. So I didn't really have issues with the food or anything like that. It was probably more of the social, I would say. And I went raw during college, so that brought on other issues, you know, just being so different from the norm. But it was all turned out, you know what I mean?
Other than acne, what kind of skin
I was born with whiteheads under my eyes, which was really random, really odd. And whenever I was little, I had eczema so bad, and right here in my arms, that I would scratch it so bad it would bleed. And I went to the pediatrician for that, and he just gave me cortisone cream, you know. And what else? I would just get rashes on my legs, and in particular those, the acne. And I had cystic acne, so I call them tumors. Whatever people want to call them, I call them tumors, and I had them all over my body pretty much, and it really plagued me and bugged me, and they were also very painful. So that's what I was dealing with, and since I had gone raw for so long, and I had detoxified my body, I don't have skin problems anymore. I don't have rashes. I'm not saying my skin is 100% perfect, but it's so much better than it was. Another thing that I dealt with is I also had digestive problems my whole life. You can use your imagination with that, but I don't think I ever really had normal digestion. And since changing my diet and eating so much fiber and living water and nutrients, my digestion is really perfect right now. And I think that having a healthy colon and a healthy GI tract is going to make you a lot healthier person than if you're constipated, you know what I mean? And just having issues with that. And I know that a lot of people do. I mean, you go to Walgreens and there's a whole aisle of laxatives and stuff like that. I mean, people are having some serious issues with it.
Has it made you the other way around?
No.
Instead of constipated?
Nope. I mean, you can have, people have detoxification in the beginning, so that could happen to you.
Yeah, the beginning, yeah.
Yeah, but no, it's normal. Okay, so I just added the cucumber into the bowl, and now I'm going to add pumpkin seeds. Now, I soaked these for about 2 hours. Normally, I would like to soak them for around 6 to 8 hours, or maybe overnight. I enjoy soaking my seeds because it releases the phytic acid and the enzyme inhibitors. It just makes it so much more easily digestible. So I choose to do that. And I would encourage you guys to Google why soaking your nuts too and seeds is beneficial, because it's really interesting and it's kind of something that not a lot of people talk about, I think. But I think it's really important. So I'm going to add all of these in there. I'm just stirring it around.
I know your parents are here, but have you guys changed your diet with your daughter?
Yes, I've been raw for almost 5 years, and I'm vegan. I quit eating meat and everything, and what questions do you have?
Well, I know your daughter's saying specific issues that she had beforehand.
Yeah,
So
what did I
if
have?
you didn't have those same sorts of things, what benefit have you felt?
Well, first of all, just, seeing me that sick and nearly dead, once it made you want to drink, it made you, want to lose weight, just be healthier. But then when we got the juicer and I juiced the carrots, I was like, oh my God, carrot juice, and it was just so fun, because you always all your life think you're supposed to eat greens and steam some broccoli or eat something, and it gets boring, but all of a sudden when you have the juicer, it just gives you something to drink and eat, and then it also nourishes you and replaces meals. And
I think that if you don't want to change anything, getting a juicer is so beneficial for the body. And you can even replace coffee with green juice, and juicing is a miracle.
Coffee because I didn't have time because I wanted to drink it, And then again, I think you have to want it. You just have to want it. And
A lot of people that come into this lifestyle, they came from a past of health issues, and they come to this as kind of like the last resort. Like, okay, I've done this, I've taken a million supplements, I've gone to naturopathic doctors even, and nothing works. But whenever you finally get back to the brass tacks, if you will, and you go back to nature's food, it really changes you. And a big part of it is cleaning out the colon, I think. And it can get a lot more in depth. One thing that really helped me along my journey is I stumbled upon this man his name is Dr. Robert Morse. He's a naturopathic doctor in Florida. And I call him the detoxification king. He's just amazing. I would encourage, he does a lot of YouTube videos too. And he deals with people of all walks of life who have had so many health issues, and he's helped them heal. And he recommends a raw vegan diet and then herbs. Herbs are very medicinal. They're like God's medicine, So that was amazing too. I could really talk for hours about this whole lifestyle. But okay, I just added pumpkin seeds. Now I'm taking a little bit of cayenne. Just a few dashes. You can put more if you want it more amped up, or less if you want it less. I know some people like things really spicy, like myself, and some people don't. But I just added a few dashes there.
Is his last name Morris?
His last name is Morse, M-O-R-S-E. And then I'm going to add a little bit of garlic and herb seasoning, I believe. No, that's not for this recipe. Next is tahini. The other recipe I'm going to do has garlic and herb, which is amazing. That's another cool thing about raw veganism, is that you can make salad dressings and change completely how they taste by what spices you put in. So you could put curry in it and make it Indian, or garlic and herb, or anything like that, and really switch it up. But okay, so right now this is raw tahini, and all it is ground sesame seeds. And I love this for salad dressings, for stuff like this, because it makes things really creamy, which is something that I really enjoy the taste of, is creaminess in my recipes. You can make things sweet, you can do anything you want, but I really like savory salad dressings and stuff like that. So I'm kind of eyeballing it. I'm not sure how much I said to put. 3 tablespoons. I'm probably going to do a little bit more because I'm making it for a lot more people. But obviously these sesame seeds are a fat, So I try to eat a low-fat diet as much as I can. I think that there's definitely benefits to fat, and I do eat fat in my diet. But it's not like I would tank up on a bag of pecans, and that's not really the kind of raw vegan I am. You can do whatever you want, but I enjoy eating a low-fat diet. I eat a lot of fruit. So to kind of give you an idea of how I operate on a daily basis, I'll wake up and I drink a ton of water. I really like drinking alkaline water. I get water from here. It's called Mountain Valley Spring. I think I have one over here. This is what they look like. I get them in glass bottles because I don't like drinking water out of plastic. Because if you've studied it, you know that the chemicals from plastic leach into the water, and I just try to avoid that as much as I can. And then I will drink a lot of raw coconut water. My favorite brand, they sell it here too, product placement, I don't know, is from the brand Harmless Harvest. And that one tastes so good, and I will drink a lot of that, like when I go to work and stuff. And then I will come home for lunch, or I'll have a green juice in the morning too. And that's just been so beneficial for me, is drinking a green juice every single day to get those minerals and vitamins in concentrated form. And then I'll come home for lunch and eat a bunch of fruit. And I will eat a lot of fruit, like 5 oranges or 4 mangoes, you know? And then lately I've been having my big meal like this. If I was making coleslaw, I would eat this in the afternoon too, instead of eating it in the evening, because I find when I go to bed without a stomach full of food, I sleep better and I feel just better in the morning. I think that when you go to sleep, you want it to be for regeneration and for detoxification. And when you go to bed having just eaten a bunch of food, I don't know, I think it makes the body less apt to heal overnight. And that's something that I'm obviously all about, is the healing of the body and treating it kindly, you know? So I just added the tahini in there, and that makes it really creamy. And then I'm going to add apple cider vinegar, which I love. So I'm going to add about 8 tablespoons of this. You can put in more or less. You don't even have to add this if you don't really like the taste of it. But I think it just adds a significant kick that I really enjoy. But you don't want to overdo it. I mean, you don't want to put in 3 cups of apple cider vinegar. But that's another thing I would encourage you to look up, is the benefits of apple cider vinegar. It's just endless. It's really, really good for the body.
Do you use unfiltered?
I use Bragg's. Yeah, this is unfiltered and raw. Bragg's is definitely my favorite brand. I think they sell another brand here, and I'm sure it's fine, but I just always gravitate towards Bragg's. So I'm going to stir this in really well. And then I'm going to add a little bit of ground mustard seed. This just adds a little kick as well. Once again, that's the cool thing about the raw vegan diet, is the spices you get to use. It just opens up a whole new world of fun. And they're also very beneficial for you. Mustard seed's really good for you. Cayenne, cinnamon, all of that. You know, they all have benefits. And that's something that I enjoy doing on a daily basis, is I only eat foods that are really good for my body. And it's really cool, like for this has carrots and zucchini. So I found whenever I was in the beginning of my journey, I would Google like benefits of carrots, benefits of zucchini, and then you just read off this list and you're like, wow, I'm doing something really cool for my body. And it just becomes something fun. I know that a lot of people would think that this diet is about restriction and you can't eat this, you can't eat that, but to me, the fruit and vegetable kingdom is so large that it really opened up a world for me. And I was like, wow, I get to eat this, and it's stuff that I never really did before, because I ate the standard American diet and it was very processed and just very toxic in my opinion. But yeah, okay, so I think I have everything in here. Okay, so I'm going to put these in these little sample cups. I really like eating this with a lot of lettuce. I try to have a salad every single day of my life. I think that it's very beneficial to do that. So what I'm going to do is put a little bit of salad in the bottom of these cups, and then some coleslaw, and you guys can just come up and get them. But that is how we will do that.
When you said dinner, like coleslaw, and then what else did you say for dinner?
For dinner, this would be a dinner for me. I would have probably 1 or 2 heads of green leaf lettuce and then this.
Okay.
And that is just extremely satiating and really good for you.
Why don't you use cabbage in your coleslaw?
You could do cabbage. I actually started this recipe using cabbage, but cabbage is a little bit hard to digest for some people, and carrots and zucchini are so soft and a lot more easily digestible, so I just kind of switched it to that. It also tastes really good because carrots are sweet, as you know, so it kind of adds a sweetness. That's something I really enjoy, is having savory and sweet together in my recipes, and it's something I work on perfecting, is combining the two.
I know some people say that they have to avoid it, like nightshades.
Yeah, everyone's different with that. I haven't had any issues with it. Like tomatoes.
What is the nightshade?
No, I don't know.
I don't really know the details on it, but some people have. No, some people just think that they're allergic to it, or they are allergic to it.
Some people say like that causes inflammation in their body. Yeah, I mean, and they're just saying that that's another source, even though it's vegetables, and we think they're all good, but for some people,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I personally have never had any issues. I will mention that there was a period of time where I was getting cysts again on my face, and I was trying to figure it out, and I figured out that it was dates. Now, dates affect me. They probably won't affect you guys, but I am just very sensitive, and I have cleaned out my body so much to where if I eat something that's super concentrated, like a dried fruit like dates, then it can affect my skin. Or if I eat too much fat, it can affect my skin. So I keep my diet extremely clean because I notice that my skin gets worse, you know. But dates are still extremely good for you. That's another thing you should look up the benefits of, are dates. But yeah, that's like the only thing I noticed that I've had issues with. I haven't had issues with nightshades or anything like that. Luckily, because I love tomatoes. But I have heard about that.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
You just forget about the egg too, how egg is in everything. You know, it's in pasta, it's in chocolate, it's in a lot of stuff. So if you want to go vegan, you have to remember what the egg is in. So that's why some people are vegetarian, because they still want the eggs or, you know, the cheese or whatever. But it's also about the acid in your body, keeping your body alkaline.
Yeah.
A lot of foods are more acidic, and it causes acid, which causes disease and inflammation, you know. And so it's about eating foods that are nutritious and our bodies suck up, you know.
That's another reason why I love green juice, is they're extremely alkalizing to the body. I just can't talk enough about green juice. I just love them.
Whether food's dead or alive, you know, like a piece of pasta's dead.
You guys can come up and get these. I have forks and napkins up there as well.
No, I don't do something, and I don't use something else in their pumpkin seed. Yeah.
I know, everybody knows that.
Well, not, no one plate.
Your pictures sure are colorful and vibrant.
Thank
looking.
you. I love color.
Yeah.
It's like delicious, just look at the pictures. Yeah, I noticed with your bowls and your pictures and what
I
you're
know.
wearing and your earrings.
I'm a colorful girl.
It's great.
Thank you.
Yeah, I bet. I know, it'll get me going too if I have a daughter like that. you have girls?
I don't have any kids.
I know. This is one of your seven.
Yeah, I'm doing a class right now.
Yeah.
Okay, are you
Oh, I have
Yeah, you
my
can join.
cousin, but she's in England. She's vegan. She's not raw vegan, but she's
Huh?
in England.
We're about
but she's been
halfway
away
in,
her
so there's
whole
30
life,
minutes
so-
left. About that time.
And go back to her old years.
Can you even imagine?
Yeah.
I can't even imagine that.
Yeah, well, that's why I admire her so much. You go, oh my gosh.
Because most of us don't do it until there's a reason.
Right, like she said, disease or something, yeah. Or already been to, already.
That is true, yeah. I'm so glad that I'm 25 and doing this because I call it the preventative parade. I want to be on the preventative parade. I don't want to
You're smart.
wait until I'm 30, 40, 50, 60 and then I come down with some illness that I could have prevented, you know? So I'm going to have extra of this, so at the end, if you guys want to come up and get some, then that is totally fine.
It's not spicy at all either. I thought it'd be spicy.
Yeah, I would normally add more cayenne, but I didn't want to like freak you guys out with too much cayenne.
Freak it out.
Hi. Yeah.
I just wondered. That was just me wondering.
When,
That's just me.
when did you do your book?
That's just me
When did I do it?
Yeah.
Well, it started out as an ebook, and you can still get it on my website in the digital form, but I really wanted to print it and have hard copies of it, and so that happened like maybe a month ago.
Oh, excellent.
So,
Basic.
yeah.
And you have quite a few copies here to sell?
They're up at the register.
Okay.
I have one up here, but yeah, they're all up at the register if you guys would like to
I
pick
don't
it up.
know because it's.
Okay, so now we're going to go into the next recipe, which is one of my favorite recipes of all time.